Welcome one and welcome all. Here we go then. Oh my goodness. I decided to come outside today, but I'm starting to think that may have been a bad idea because now the rain is coming down very heavily and I'm not prepared for the rain, even though I have my umbrella in my hand right now. Anyway, we will see what happens. We will see how long the rain continues for. Oh dear me, this is a good start, isn't it? Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. I can't believe it. Just as I started to do my live stream, the rain started coming down very heavily. And now I'm standing outside in the rain, helpless. There is nothing I can do to stop this rain from coming down. So I hope you will bear with me for the first few moments of today's live stream. It is Sunday and we are now into November. Can you believe it? It is now November. I feel like one of those weather reporters that has to go out in extreme weather conditions. You know the sort of person I mean. Whenever you watch the TV news, and especially when the weather is really bad, there is always one TV presenter who will go outside and try to do a weather report, whether it's raining or very windy, or maybe there are some extreme weather conditions. There is always one weather reporter who wants to go outside and try to be a hero. So you might describe me as that person today. There are two things that I'm aware of. One is that I have a lot of electricity around me, and two is it's raining. And for those who know all about electricity, you will know that water and electricity do not go together very well. So let's have a look at the live chat first of all. I wonder who's on the live chat. I wasn't expecting it to rain quite as much as this, to be honest. So thank you for joining me today. I wasn't expecting all this rain, I will be honest with you. It did seem like a very good idea at the time, but now I'm starting to think maybe this isn't a good idea. The great British weather, you can always rely on it. I don't believe it. I just can't believe it's raining like this. It wasn't even in the forecast. Come on, rain, make your mind up. Are you going to continue or are you going to stop? Do I have to go back inside quickly? Try to make up your mind. See, this is one of the things about British weather. You can always rely on it to ruin your plans. Anyway, there's only 80 people watching. So, you know, I might as well go back in the house, really. Well, I'm very disappointed by this, to be honest, because it looked as if everything was going to be lovely today. The sun was out this morning. It looks so autumnal, even in the distance. If you look into the distance, it still looks nice, even though it's raining. So I wasn't expecting this. I do apologise for the rain. I'm just making sure that I don't get electrocuted at the moment as I stand here with 240 volts flowing around me. Hello to the live chat. Thank you very much to Martha. Oh, hello Martha. Guess what? You are first on today's live chat. I am trying my best to give you a round of applause there. So hello to everyone on the live chat. It's a very strange day today because the weather this morning was lovely. It seemed as if autumn was really in the air, and now it feels as if spring has arrived already. So it doesn't look very good here at the moment, for which I apologise. I hope we get some more people watching. That's all I can say. Come on, YouTube. Stop hiding my live stream. Please let people see what is going on. Now, I have some cover. Unfortunately, I am not standing under cover. I am actually out in the rain myself. So I have to stand here under my umbrella, and hopefully the rain will eventually pass over. And now everything is covered in water, including my lovely pieces of paper. So thank you once again to the Great British Weather for ruining my whole plan. This is very strange. I'm also slightly horrified that all of my lovely electrical equipment is now covered in water. So hello to you. It's 7 minutes past 2 o'clock. Yes, I did arrive slightly earlier today, and we've also missed the sheep. The sheep just went past at the back. Rosa. Oh, hello, Rosa. Rosa says it's a very hot day here. You are quite lucky, in fact, that it's a hot day. Berlim says, thanks for teaching us. Where is Mr. Steve? We might see Mr. Steve later on. It just depends on what happens with the weather. Because if the weather gets too bad, I will actually have to call it off. So I will have to stop the live stream. Christelle says, don't catch a cold, Mr. Duncan. I will try not to catch a cold. The only thing I'm trying not to catch at the moment is an electric shock. Water and electricity do not go together very well. What a wonderful view, Mr. Duncan. Thank you very much for that. So everything so far is not going as well as I planned, to be honest. This morning, the weather was gorgeous. The sun was out. Everything was fantastic. It looked so nice. And now, the weather is not so good. It is pouring down outside. But the other day, the weather was lovely. Ever so nice. We have lots of things to talk about today. Worry. Do you ever worry about things? I'm worrying right now, to be honest. Do you know what I'm worrying about? I'm worrying about whether or not I'm going to get electrocuted, because I'm standing in a puddle of water surrounded by electrical equipment. So let's hope. Hello to Zanobia. Hello, Zanobia. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks also to the English weather. Thank you, English weather. It's very lovely. Please do not send your messages with phone numbers or personal information. I will not allow that to be shown. And it's not for my safety, it's for your safety. Okay, we have to be careful here on YouTube, unfortunately. Good afternoon from Saudi Arabia. Hello to you. I bet it's not raining where you are at the moment. It's throwing it down. I can't believe the rain started at exactly the same time as my live stream began broadcasting. I can't believe it. Talk about bad luck. I am having some bad luck today. Lots of drama in the house this morning because I had one of my windows open and a small bird came into the house. Can you believe it? A tiny wren came into the house this morning and was flying around. So I had to catch that and make it go out of the house. And the problem is, whenever a bird comes into your house, what you find is they will often leave little poos everywhere. They will have poos, especially when they're frightened. You will notice this with many animals. When an animal becomes scared or frightened, they will normally have a little wee-wee or have a poo-poo. You will often see that with sheep. So if you go into a field and if you disturb the sheep, you will see lots of them will have a little wee-wee or a little poo-poo because they are panicking. They are a little afraid. Mr. Duncan, can you speak other languages? Well, I'm speaking English at the moment because that's the reason why we're here. Hello, Chris. When life gives you lemons, it is time to make lemonade. So, what do I make when it's raining? Because there aren't many things you can make from water. You normally need other ingredients. I wish this rain would stop. Please, rain, stop. What's happened to the weather? Why has the weather changed so much? It was lovely this morning. It was so nice. I can't believe how bad the weather's suddenly become. Very strange. Some people might say that that is typical British weather. And you might be right. Hello to Sweetness. Hello, Sweetness. Nice to see you here today on a Sunday. Yes, I'm back after my 31 days of October lessons. Did you enjoy those? And of course, you can find the playlist. So the playlist for all of my 31 days are still available under this video. So you can catch up with all of my 31 days of learning English. Let's have a look at the live chat again. Lots of people on here today wanting to say hello. How can I improve my English? Well, first of all, you need to learn new words, study English every day, make English a part of your life, your daily routine. I do wish this rain would stop dripping everywhere. This is incredible. I can't believe how bad the weather has suddenly become. It wasn't even in the forecast. That's what I don't understand. Hello to TS. Hello, TS. I recommend ginger milk during the rainy weather. Well, the only thing I need at the moment is a large umbrella, which is what I have right now. I have a feeling that the rain might be easing off. Thank goodness for that, because I am getting very wet. I wasn't expecting this today. Hello, Khyber. Hello, Khyber. Nice to see you here as well. Belarusia, nice to see you back. My mother is not very well, but it could be worse. Well, can I send my best wishes once again to your parents, both of them? Sometimes I forget your father. So can I say hello to both your mother and father as well? So thank you, Belarusia. I can see that you are using your normal YouTube account today. I think it is dangerous to be in the rain with your phone on and even with something metal. Yes, I agree with you. But most of the things around me are actually covered up. It sounds like someone's chopping a tree down. It's all going on. It's been so peaceful here today. This morning was lovely. It was very peaceful and quiet. And then the sun came out. It was so autumnal. So I thought it would be a good idea to come outside and do a live stream. However, I'm starting to regret coming outside, to be honest. Yes, the gazebo, the thing that is above me, will protect some of my equipment. However, I am not standing under the gazebo. I'm actually outside, under the sky, unfortunately. Hello, Flower. Hello, Flower. Nice to see you here today. We're talking about a lot of things. I'm worried at the moment. I have my own concerns right now because I'm outside doing a live stream. So I was with you for how many days? 31 days. I did live streams, one after the other. So what is going to happen next? So now we are into November and we are coming towards the end of the year. So what will happen next? What will happen in the future? What does the future hold for my live streams? Well, first of all, I haven't decided exactly what I'm doing because at the moment I'm sitting down and I'm writing lots of things. So here at the moment you can see some ideas that I have. There they are. I don't want to show them to you because it might give too many secrets away. So there are my ideas for my new live streams. So I'm not going to show you just yet because I haven't finished designing all the things and creating all of the bits and pieces as well. Hello to Saturino. Hello, Saturino. Nice to see you back on the live chat. Yes, the rain is now easing off. I am pleased that the rain is starting to ease off. Very good. Hello also to Anna Rita. Also, I can't actually read the screen now because there are drops of rain on my screen and it's very annoying. I don't even have a cloth. That's the worst part of this. I don't even have anything to clean the screen with. Hello to Joel. Hello, Pedro. Hi, Pedro. It's nice to see you here today. Can we give suggestions about any topics? Well, I have some topics planned. The only problem is the rain has kind of created a slight distraction. There's nothing worse than standing around in the rain, and it's one of the things I hate. If there is one type of weather condition that I hate, it's rain. I love the sunshine. I don't mind the cold as long as it's not wet. I don't like the rain at all. Another thing that I've been putting off over the past few months, I've got to go to the dentist. So over the next few days, I'm going to make an appointment to go along to my local dentist because I haven't been to the dentist for around maybe 8 months. So I think it might be time for me to go to the dentist and pay a visit as well. Hello to Tan Chang. Is it helpful to read English novels to improve my English? The answer to that question is yes, it is. If you can find something that you are interested in, maybe a subject that you enjoy, something you enjoy talking about or reading, or maybe something you have a genuine interest in, then you can read a book about that subject. So I always suggest that if you are going to read something to help your English, use something that you enjoy, maybe a subject that you like. Maybe you enjoy cars, so maybe you can buy a book all about cars and how they work and things like that. And then you can learn lots of new words, including technical words as well. So if you are keen on a certain subject and you want to improve your English with books, I suggest that you buy a book or read something that you are interested in, something that you have a keen interest in, something you enjoy. Rain, please go away. Come back another day. Thank you, Connell. It would appear that the rain has eased off. If something eases off, it means it slowly subsides. It slowly fades away. It has eased off. It eases away. Christina, Mr. Duncan, you are very creative. I'm sure you will plan a lot of interesting lessons in the future. Yes, well, because I did so many lessons during October, I did 31 live streams, I did kind of wear my brain out. So over the past couple of days, I've been trying to get my brain working again. I've been trying to get into some sort of routine of being creative, which isn't easy, especially when your brain has decided to go to sleep. So that's what I've been doing, but I will give you some news about what is happening with my live streams. Of course, I will be with you. I'm not going anywhere. So in case anyone says, Mr. Duncan's leaving us, that's not going to happen. I'm not going away, but I am trying at the moment to create some new things that will be interesting to you, hopefully. Hello also to TS again. I am interested about the UK peatland. I have read a lot of articles about this subject. So when you talk about the peatland, do you mean the moors? So there are many large expanses of land and areas across the UK that are very remote, places that you don't want to get lost in. Definitely not. Caesar says, Mr. Duncan, please send a big hello to my daughter, Kim Allison. Hello, Kim Allison. Nice to see you there as well today, besides Caesar. So hello to Kim Allison. Thank you for joining me. I am outside in the rain today. And there are also people cutting down trees behind me because I live in the countryside and it is always exciting. in the countryside. You never know what is going to happen next here, I tell you. So hello to Kim Allison. Hello to you. Is that Caesar? Yes, thank you, Caesar. Hi, Mr. Duncan. I am studying English and I like to use your videos as material. Thank you, Hatchie. I am glad to hear that my English lessons are useful to you. Belarusia asks, will there be any more full English lessons? Well, not at the moment, because I'm doing something else. So the problem with doing this, especially when you do it by yourself, because I don't have anyone to help me, so I have to do all of this on my own. And the problem is that sometimes there is a lot to do. Sometimes there are many things that have to be done. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Nice to see you again. Long time. Today you look so handsome. But why I didn't out of this time? I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean why didn't I get a notification from YouTube? Well, YouTube, I don't know what is happening with YouTube at the moment. It would appear many of my subscribers don't even know that I'm still making live streams. A lot of people seem to think that I've died and disappeared, but I haven't. I'm still here. So it's all because of YouTube. I don't know what is going on anymore with YouTube. There are many publishers on YouTube who are very frustrated about the way they've been treated, including me. And many of the people are publishers who have been on YouTube for many years. And as you know, I've been on for 13 years doing this. Can you believe it? Hello to Pedro again. I have a suggestion. How about you introduce your bedroom and show your personal belongings? No, I won't be doing that. You will never get to see inside my bedroom or my personal belongings. I don't know what you mean by personal belongings. What do you mean by that? Do you mean my underpants? Because those are personal belongings. I don't own many things. You might be surprised to hear that. I'm not a person who always buys things. So most of the things that I own, most of the things that I have with my daily use and in my personal life are the things that you really see. So my clothing, I don't have lots of clothes. I don't buy new clothes all the time. So I don't have lots of personal belongings. I don't just buy things all the time. I am a person who doesn't like to spend money and waste money. So yes, so really, to be honest with you, most of my personal belongings are the things that you see on the live stream. Are there people working in the rain? I wonder if it's necessary, asks Rosa. I don't know what's happening behind me. It was so quiet this morning. All I could hear this morning were the birds in the trees. But today, and this afternoon, it's turned quite noisy and wet. Hello, Orn. Hello from Thailand. What brings you to look happy all the time? What is the secret of being happy? Well, as I always say, the one thing that I do every morning when I wake up, I open my eyes and I look around and I always have a little smile at the start of every day, because I realise that I can do this all over again. I get another day of life. Wow. So, to be honest with you, when I wake up in the morning, I always feel happy because I'm alive and I can enjoy all of this. I can enjoy another day in this world. So yes, that's really it, to be honest. So there isn't any deep philosophy behind the way I behave. I just try to be happy, and sometimes, even though it's hard sometimes to see the positive side of something, I try my best. Anna says, I don't know why you haven't received any YouTube award for the number of subscribers. No, I haven't. I haven't received a play button or any sort of award. So no, haven't received anything like that. So no, I don't have a YouTube play button. I don't have any awards. Anyway, don't worry about it. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Hello to Azra. Hello, Azra. I am watching you for the first time and I want to increase my knowledge by watching you. Hello, Azra. And congratulations for being here first for the first time. So can I give you a round of applause? This might be the most difficult live stream I've ever done. I think the rain has actually stopped, so I will remove my umbrella. And there it is. Now you can see where I am. So there it is. I'm now in the garden. And a few moments ago, the sheep were all walking behind me, but now they've gone. They've gone away, unfortunately. I think they've gone to shelter under a tree. If you shelter, it means you go under something to protect you from the rain and the wind. You shelter from something. In fact, you can use that word as both a noun and verb. Yes, it's Mr. Duncan live in the garden, and I am standing here on a very damp day. Even though this morning it was lovely. It was so nice this morning. It's very strange noises behind me. So there was a bird in the house this morning. There was actually a bird flying around the house this morning. I can't believe it. I had to catch the bird and put it outside because it was pooing. It was leaving little poos all around the house. Hello to... This is great. One of the wonderful things about doing a live stream is you never know what is going to happen. You never know. From moment to moment. Hello to Julie. Hello also to Saturino. Mr. Duncan isn't a show-off person. He is good and generous and a simple person. That is true. I am simple. In many ways. But no, I'm not a person who goes out to buy things all the time. I only have a few clothings. A few clothings? I suppose that's right, grammatically. So I only have a few items of clothing. I don't have lots of clothes. In fact, this morning, I realised how many of my shoes actually have holes in, because I came out into the garden this morning and the grass was very wet, and I suddenly realised that my feet were getting wet because there were some holes in the bottom of my shoes. So I think I need to buy a new pair of shoes, or else I'm going to have wet feet all the time. Kevin, hello Kevin Chung. I am going to take my IELTS exam. Do you have any advice for me about the preparation? Well, to be honest with you, if you are going to take an IELTS exam, you should already know what is expected. So what you normally do, you are told by the instructor or the person who is going to give you the IELTS exam what you will have to do. So normally you will have some preparation anyway. So I'm surprised by that. So many people who take their IELTS exam or TOEFL exam or any of these exams, because there are quite a few nowadays, but many people take the IELTS exam. I would say that you need to make sure that you understand English, not only from knowing words but also thinking in English, because you will be tested not only on your reading and your speaking, but also you will be tested on how you understand English. And that also means in here, in your mind. So they really want to understand how much you know English, how much you understand English, and also how much you can use English. So there are many parts to the IELTS exam. And the reason why there are many parts is because they want to test all of your abilities. They want to make sure, they want to be sure that you know English, not just as words, but also as something that you use. So they want to test your cognitive use of English. So when we talk about cognitive, we mean the way you think. So thinking in English, being able to speak English, being able to answer questions. So maybe you will listen to a piece of dialogue or speech, and then afterwards you will have to answer questions about that. So to be honest with you, you really should be prepared already for your IELTS exam. So most people who take a test normally have an idea of what they are going to be tested on. That's my honest answer. I always try to give you an honest answer. It sounds as if Formula One is happening near you. I know, I can't believe how noisy it is. I really don't know what they're doing. I think they're chopping some trees down. Christina, in life, the less you have, the more you are well. I know, I've never been a materialistic person. So if a person is materialistic, it means that they always concentrate on their belongings. So they always believe that if you have lots of things in your life, lots of things that you own, they think you will be happier. But quite often, that isn't true. It isn't true. Theo, it seems to me, Mr. Duncan, that you found the meaning of your life. I suppose so. It's taken me a long time. But I think I found the meaning of my life, and maybe the things I'm able to do, and also the things that I'm not able to do. Yesterday, my friend told me that my way of speaking sounds a little bit similar to yours, the tone and the speed, and I haven't ever realised that before. Thank you, Tan Chang. Well, you can always use my way of speaking as a way of improving your way of speaking. So, thank you very much. I take that as a compliment. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I don't want any shoes. No, don't worry about it. You don't have to send me to... Pedro says we can buy Mr. Duncan some new shoes. No, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to do that. You don't have to buy me some new shoes. I have some boots that I normally wear when I go on my walks. And I have a pair of shoes and a pair of sneakers. However, my sneakers are very old. I bought them in 2007. So my sneakers are very old. They are 12 years old. Almost as old as my YouTube channel. So I need to get some new sneakers because they have holes in them, as I found out this morning when I went outside and my socks became very wet. Hello to Sayara. Hello, Sayara. I like your name, by the way. You are a very good teacher. Thank you, darling. Oh, darling. I like that. Hopefully Mr. Steve will be here soon, but for now we are talking about fire at the moment. We are now going to change the subject because on Tuesday here in the UK it is bonfire night. On the 5th of November we always celebrate bonfire night, and for those who are wondering what it is all about, here is a video that I hope will help you. Can you see what I'm doing today? I'm preparing to light a fire. I have some old wood and garden debris to dispose of. To start a fire, you need some dry material that will light easily. Paper is the most common material used, or small pieces of wood will also do the job. The material used to start a fire is called kindling. You use kindling to start the fire. Kindling establishes the fire. There is also the word kindle, which means to start a fire. Kindling is a noun, while kindle is a verb. I will use a match to start the fire. I will strike the match and light the paper. This will start the fire. The paper will ignite. The word ignite comes from the Latin word for fire. We sometimes use the word pyro to describe something related to fire. For example, a person who is addicted to starting fires can be called a pyromaniac. The most obvious parts of a fire are the flames and smoke. Can you see the flames? The movement of the flames cannot be predicted. Flames move randomly. We can use the word lick to describe the movement of a fire's flame. The flames licked around the doorframe. A flame flickers. We can describe the flame on a candle as a flickering flame. A flame can shimmer, flicker, glow, dance. The fire I'm lighting today will be safely contained. This container is called an incinerator. You burn things in an incinerator. The inside of the incinerator will become very hot. To keep the fire under control, I must put this lid on it. Now the fire will burn steadily and remain safe. The small hole in the centre of the lid allows the smoke to escape in a controlled way, just like the chimney on a house would. Fires are fun to watch, but they can also be very dangerous, especially if they get out of control. After the fire has gone out, there is normally some debris left. This grey-looking substance is called ash. This is all that is left of what was burned. You can also put out a fire using water. This action can be described as extinguish. You extinguish the fire. You put the fire out. You have extinguished the flames. The fire has been put out. Here in the UK, we have a tradition that involves lighting fires. Each year on November the 5th,
people light large bonfires to commemorate the capture of a group of men who were plotting to blow up the Houses of Parliament and kill the then King of England in 1605. Parliament was, and still is, the meeting place of the British government. The plot, however, was foiled when Parliament officials discovered one of the plotters, a man named Guy Fawkes, guarding the gunpowder. This event became known as the Gunpowder Plot. The celebrations take place every November 5th. It is known as Guy Fawkes Night. Large bonfires are lit and life-size effigies of Guy Fawkes are burnt on the fires. Fireworks are also let off, and quite often food such as baked potatoes are eaten. There is a rhyme that goes with this event too, which begins, "Remember, remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot."
Oh, I hope you enjoyed that. That was one of my full English lessons. There are lots of full English lessons on my YouTube channel. Some people don't even realise that I have a YouTube channel. However, if you want to join in, you can, of course, like and subscribe. I know it always sounds desperate. Lots of people on YouTube always ask their viewers to like and subscribe. But if you want to like this with your thumb and also subscribe, you are more than welcome to do so. Welcome to Chainsaw City. There are people behind me using chainsaws at the moment, so if you hear some noises, I do apologise, but I will try to stop your inconvenience from being too bad. So I do apologise if you hear any sounds, but there are some people cutting the trees behind me. And I found out why they are doing them, because they are actually cutting some of the trees that are very close to the electricity lines. So where the electricity is flowing are on the poles that are above all of the people that live around here. So they are cutting the trees to keep the branches away from the electricity pylons and the electricity lines. I hope I explained that well. So a lot of people have been asking, where is Mr. Steve? We haven't seen Mr. Steve for a long time. So I thought it would be fun if I magicked Mr. Steve. So if you want to join me, everyone close your eyes. So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to say, Mr. Steve, can you please appear with Mr. Duncan right now? So after 3, I want everyone to say, please, can Mr. Steve appear now? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Can Mr. Steve appear now? That went well.
Hello, Mr. Duncan.
Hello, Mr. Steve.
I brought my headphones.
Why?
Because of the noise.
Well,
it seems to have stopped.
No.
Oh no, it started again.
Yes. Well, of course you think it's stopped. You've got these on.
It's quite a noise. Anyway, I've got these. Of course, I keep these in the house all the time because if Mr. Duncan's annoying me with what he's talking about, I can just put these on.
Yes, I know. I think you said that the other week.
But so these are new ones. My other ones broke.
Actually, these are quite trendy. But they're not really headphones. They are actually ear defenders.
Ear defenders, yes.
Ear defenders. So these will help to keep all of the sounds, annoying sounds, out of your ears. However...
And can you see how I've colour coordinated the headphones with my new gardening gloves?
I've noticed, yes. So your lovely ear defenders actually match your gloves.
Exactly. You see, even in the garden, you've got to be colour coordinated
not only
at all times.
Not only that, they also match my shirt as well. it's
Shall I rub these over your shirt? I've been in the garden today, haven't I,
yes,
Mr. Duncan?
you've been busy in the garden, as every elderly man is doing at the moment in the UK.
What are you trying to suggest? That
So-
I'm elderly?
Lots of elderly men are in their gardens at the moment. They are getting ready to put the garden to bed.
They are. Yes, that's a phrase which we've heard many times by let's say, retired gentlemen
Elderly men.
who would say, I'm putting the garden to bed.
Yes.
So that means that they're cutting back the old plants because winter's on the way.
Winter is coming.
So nothing's going to grow in the winter. So they're just letting the garden rest.
Yes.
They're putting it to bed. They're cutting back all the dead plants and just making it look nice and neat, like a nice neat bed, comfortable and cosy, maybe putting some compost and some rotten leaves over the ground just to protect the plants from the frost, putting the garden to bed.
Yes. So when you put the garden to bed, you are preparing for the onset of winter. You are making sure the garden doesn't need any more maintenance until spring.
Where shall I put these, Mr. Duncan?
I can think of one place you can put them.
Well, everyone's saying hello, so hello to everybody who's saying hello to me.
Of course, people have missed you because we did 31 days of October lessons and Mr. Steve didn't appear live in any of them, did you?
I wasn't allowed to, Mr.
No,
Duncan, that's
but
why.
You weren't there.
I was at work.
Yes, you were out. You weren't. You can't be in the live stream if you're not here. You do realise that, I hope.
It's going very cold out here, Mr. Duncan.
It's damp. Can you believe it, Steve? When I first started today, I started my live stream, and at exactly the same moment, it started raining. The rain was throwing it down.
Well, I did wonder. I thought Mr. Duncan hasn't put his waterproof gazebo up. What will happen with all this rain? But
I have.
presumably you survived.
Well, my gazebo is there.
Oh, yes.
Haven't you?
I
you
just
haven't
wonder
noticed?
why you weren't underneath it.
Oh yes, because I wanted. Oh, that's just a technical thing.
I mean, I buy these things for Mr. Duncan, then he doesn't use them properly.
So I did start to worry. I was a little worried when it started to rain because I'm surrounded by electrical devices, lots of electricity all around me, and as we all know, electricity and water do not mix.
Armin says, what do I do for a living? I'm in sales.
Oh yes, Amen ZT.
I think we would pronounce that Amen.
Amen. Yes, it's a little bit like after you say a prayer.
Yes.
You say Amen.
Amen.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the gloves. Everything's matching today, Mr. Duncan.
Okay then. So your job is sales.
Sales.
And can I just say, Mr. Steve is a very good salesman.
I've been doing it for over 30 years, so I should be good.
In fact, Steve is so good, we actually got not one, but 2 free holidays. We actually got free holidays this year from your company because Steve did so well last year. So we went to Paris and also we went to Portugal. Not only
Courtesy of the company I work for.
Not only that, but also I did live streams. I was standing on the corner of the street in Paris with all of the traffic going by, and that was quite horrendous. And I stood there for 3 hours.
I wonder if people can hear. Can people hear this?
They can.
What is this?
It's a chainsaw.
It's a chainsaw. That's
what they call them. Chainsaw.
So they're cutting down something, and you've discovered that they're cutting down the trees around the power lines.
Yes, and in a moment they're coming here, right behind us, because the power line goes right behind our house. So in the moment, they've already said, I've seen the man. The man was there and he called the blokes. He says, you'll have to cut this back in a minute. So they're coming here.
Must be the one. You might see them. You might get.
No, not only see them, you're going to hear them.
Well, we're going at 3. Well,
I don't care about seeing them. I'm more worried about.
Mind you, see, we have been having a lot of power cuts recently.
Okay.
Haven't we? Annoying power cuts.
Okay.
And of course, because we live in the country, the power lines, the trees eventually grow around the power lines, and then if they touch the power lines, you get an outage, a power cut, and I think that's why we've been getting a lot of it. So about every few years they come round and cut everything back to make it safe.
See what you've done now? Now everyone wants to know what your job is and who you work for.
So I'm not going to say who I work
you
for.
You must
This-
never go down that road too far, because
No, I didn't.
everyone wants that personal information. Well, Pedro earlier said he wants to see inside my bedroom and where I sleep and all my personal belongings.
Really? Kinky?
As I mentioned, I don't have many belongings though. So worry. There are many words you can use to describe worry. And I think this word should be near Mr. Steve, because I think Mr. Steve worries more than I do. So I think this one is your word.
Yes.
So I would say Mr. Steve is a person who will worry about things. Also, I think Steve is a person who will often agonize. So again, agonize.
Shall I do it or shan't I?
Yes.
Oh, shall I go left or right? Which route shall I take to this town? Shall I go that way or that way? Oh, I just can't decide.
Yes. Or maybe something that's happened recently and you're just thinking about it. So it can cause you a lot of pain and upset. So you will sit there, you will worry, and you will agonize.
And then I will be very indecisive. Is that a word that you've got printed out, Mr. Duncan? Indecisive?
Oh, excuse me. I don't know what's happening today. Literally everything today has gone wrong.
If you are indecisive, you are a person who finds it difficult to make decisions. Sometimes very easy decisions. For example, what shall I make to eat tonight? You could have a choice of 3 or 4 things that you could cook. But I'm the sort of person that would, shall we have that? But then, didn't we have that 2 days ago? So therefore, we should have the other one. But no, the other one, I'm not sure that I want that tonight. Or is that going to sit well in my stomach?
What?
So
That's not really worry, is it?
No, I'm on about indecision. We've moved on, Mr. Duncan. We're not on worry anymore. We're on indecision.
Yeah,
While you were
okay,
coughing,
then.
I've moved on.
Okay, I have all words to do with worry.
So
to look
yes,
at.
sometimes you can overthink things, and sometimes you need to use your gut instinct to make decisions instead of having to analyse everything. Because you see, my background is science,
Okay.
so I'm used to analysing everything. But
Yes.
when you're making everyday decisions, sometimes you don't need to over-analyse everything.
Yes.
Sometimes you just let your gut instinct tell you.
Okay. Nobody can see down there,
and
by the
then-
way.
Gut. Well, everyone knows where the gut is. The
Yes.
gut. And that's a phrase people use.
The
What's
gut
your gut
feeling.
instinct? Sometimes someone might say, "Well, what do you think you should? What do you think you should do?" And somebody might say to you, "What's your gut instinct?"
Okay.
So, what's your the unanalytical part of your brain telling you to do?
Okay then. Well, this isn't really worry, is it? We're talking about worry at the moment. See, worry is the subject.
Yes, but worry, you see, indecision can lead to worry.
Well, yes, it
And
can.
worry can lead to indecision.
I think so. Okay then. So if you worry, you can also suffer as well. So you might talk about worrying causing you a lot of pain, a lot of worry, a lot of upset, and also you will suffer from worry, which I think again can happen to anyone really. If you worry about things, you can suffer.
And of course, you can worry about genuine things. The phrase "don't sweat the small stuff"
Okay. That's
is a phrase which is used to mean you should only really worry about the really important things in life, not worry about the little things.
Yes.
Don't sweat. Don't get yourself into a heated state over silly things and worry about them and chew your nails. Chew your nails. Oh, I'm a bit of a nail biter, Mr. Duncan, aren't I?
I wonder what you're going to say then.
But I've managed to stop. Do you know, I've been biting my nails ever since
Yeah.
I was probably about 11.
Sorry, are we repeating a live stream we did?
I don't remember talking about that.
You have. You talked about your biting nails.
Did I? Well, look at them now. They're perfect. Perfect.
That's it. Where's your thumb?
Well, let's not go into the thumb.
Steve was hiding his thumb. You want to see Steve's thumb. His thumb looks awful. Steve is always picking and chewing his thumb.
I'm worrying about something. I do it unconsciously.
You never stop worrying. In fact,
No, that's why I meditate.
Okay,
That's why I'm doing meditation.
We're doing a lesson. Stress. Stress. That's what Steve is causing now. Stress can be the result of worry, can't it?
Oh, definitely. Yes, stress is if something happens. So, well, we all know what stress is. Stress is, particularly at work, people get a lot of workplace stress where they've got a lot of things to do. The boss is telling them they're not doing it right. They've got a lot of tasks to do in a short period of time, or something's not going right at work, and that causes stress. And over
Yes.
the long term, of course, that causes you to worry about your job. And that can lead to long-term stress, of course, can lead to anxiety, all sorts of symptoms. Stress directly affects your digestive system. So that's the first thing to get upset by stress is your digestion.
Okay.
So you might have acid reflux, or you might have problems going to the toilet. Stress really there's a direct link, a doctor told me, there's a direct link between stress in your brain and your digestive system.
I've got 15 more words.
Right, hurry up then.
You can go over something.
Yes, go over something in your mind. You can
Yes.
go over it.
So sometimes when you're thinking about something, Steve, it can go over in your mind. You keep thinking about it. It won't go away. It keeps going over and over in your mind.
And that I get that a lot with pleasant things like music. So a musical tune or a song that you really like goes over and over in your mind. And if that keeps happening, it's pleasant. But if it happens too much, which that always happens to me, it becomes stressful because you can't get to sleep, you can't concentrate on anything else. And before you know it, you're getting all sorts of stress symptoms.
So you go over things in your mind. You go over something again and again. You can't get it out of your mind.
Neo says that they already have hypertension and only 21.
Dear.
Now, that must be genetic. I don't think that can be environmental.
Okay, although we're not doctors.
We're not doctors.
We're not
no.
doctors. So it might be genetic. It might just be that sometimes, things just get too much to bear.
Are you able to... That's the trouble. You have to... I think as you get older as well, not that we are getting older, but as you get older, I'm talking generally,
Okay.
you don't handle stress as easily as you did when you were younger. And I think the physical symptoms of stress are more pronounced when you get older because your body can't handle the stress as well as when you were younger. You would just throw these problems away and not worry about them.
You wouldn't give a care. You wouldn't have a care in the world. As I always call it, the exuberance of youth.
Pedro says, am I able to fix everything like gates, roofs, walls? Well, shaking your head, Mr. Duncan. I can do a bit of everything, but I'm not particularly good at really good at any one thing apart from cutting the grass. I'm good at that.
Oh, here's a good idea. Saturino has a good idea. Maybe you are putting your gloves on so you don't bite your fingernails.
Saturino, you are very clever because what do I do, Mr. Duncan?
Well,
in order to prevent myself from chewing I often get into these habits when I'm watching television, when I'm not doing anything. And what I commonly do is we'll be sitting there watching the television and I'll just start like that. And then before I know it, it's gone too far. So if I put these gloves on, white gloves, it sounds a bit ridiculous, but I've got some gloves and I put them on when we're watching the television and that stops me fiddling with mine.
Can I just say
Not
that Steve doesn't wear these?
I'm giving away far too much of my personal information
I know.
today.
I'm trying to keep my personal information back and you're just spilling it. Spilling the beans.
Please calm down.
Here's another one.
Vitas. Dwell. Yes. Dwell.
So again, it's very similar to having something going over in your mind. You will dwell on something. You will think about something maybe for too long or too often. It will dwell. So when we talk about dwell, normally it means to be in a certain place. So dwell means that the thing you are thinking lives inside your head. You keep dwelling over it, over the same thing. Again and again. I think the chainsaws are getting nearer.
That's causing us all nervousness and stress.
I know. I've had a stressful day. When I started my live stream today, it started raining. The rain was falling down heavily on my head. And then the chainsaws behind me started. And this morning there was a bird in the living room. It was pooing everywhere. It was leaving little poos all over the furniture. So there's nothing worse than having a wild animal in your house. The first thing they will do is poo.
Lewis says here that, I don't think Mr. Steve is a troublemaker, but he can have explosions of... Yes, I can! I can have explosions of rage like that, but then I can't... Causing Mr. Duncan stress. But yes, I can have these explosions of rage. I won't do it now.
Well, you just did. What do you mean you won't do it now? You just did do it.
Shall I go and rant and rave? Rant and rave, that means to talk and in a loud, sort of domineering manner.
A domineering? You mean
rant
angry?
And rave. He's very angry.
The word Steve is looking for is angry.
If you rant and rave at somebody, it means that you're shouting at them in anger.
Yes, okay then.
Shall I go and do that to those...
You nearly gave me a heart attack then. and also people on the live chat, I think you've given them a heart attack. Sorry about that. Sorry for Steve's shouting. If you're wearing headphones at the moment, I do apologise.
Naomi says that she had stress when she was younger, but now she can manage it better. So sometimes you can handle stress better when you're older. You see, It's the reverse for me.
So another word for worry connected to it.
Sorry for my outburst.
You can. What's this?
Become concerned.
Yes, you can. Maybe something comes along in your life. Maybe something you weren't expecting.
Yes.
And maybe it's something that wasn't there yesterday, but now is. Something that suddenly comes along that you have to think about.
Yes.
And maybe you will become concerned.
There's a strange... I've noticed, Mr. Duncan, on the end of your nose, there's a very strange spot. I'm getting... quite concerned about it. I think you should go and see a doctor.
I wonder.
Concerned expressions. When people are concerned about you, they have this expression, don't they?
I was worried there. I wasn't sure where that spot was going to be on my body. I'm glad you said my nose.
We won't talk about the others.
So you might become concerned. You start to worry about something. You become concerned. Maybe if you are a parent and your daughter has gone out for the night with her boyfriend, and then it's midnight. Suddenly it's midnight. You may become concerned. You start to worry.
Flower Espoir. Don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but a lovely name. Listen to calm music and carry out physical exercise. Well, music and exercise are two fantastic ways to reduce stress because they release. They distract you away from whatever it is that's on your mind. It's a distraction, and secondly, it releases these what they call endorphins, these happy hormones in your brain to make you feel better. Don't I often say, Mr. Duncan, when I'm feeling stressed, I'll either do some singing or go for a run or something like that, something to just break up that, because what you can get into these loops of thinking where your mind just keeps going over and over the same thought, and that causes stress within your body. You've got to break it somehow.
Yeah. Sometimes you can be too
analytical.
So you can think about things, you can analyse things too much, and I think this is another thing that you sometimes do, maybe.
Yes.
So you can analyse maybe a small moment of time where something happened. You look at tiny things or tiny moments from your life and you analyse them. You can be too analytic. I like the way it says anal as well. I like the fact that analytic has the word has the word anal at the start of it. I don't know why, but
you pointed that out, Mr. Duncan.
It always makes me laugh. So you could be very analytical. You think too much about things.
See, it's good to be analytical if you're doing certain tasks, certain jobs maybe need to be analytical, and you need to know all the detail. But in most everyday tasks, you don't need to. So sometimes that can cross over, and being over analytical can cause you to be indecisive, not make decisions, and and cause you stress. But you need to be analytical in certain things. For example, you wouldn't want to if you got a pension, for example.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of money. It's important when you might be building up a pension for many, many years, decades. You have to be a little bit analytical there in terms of deciding where you're going to invest your money. You can't say, "Oh, I'll just put it there,"
Yes.
because that could have long-term consequences.
That's
so
it.
you have to know when you need to be analytical.
So some types of analysing are good, something important that you have to consider. But sometimes we analyse things that aren't important or things that are small and trivial. Something else, if you are a person who...
Sorry, can I say something? Typically,
No.
Typically, if you've had maybe not an argument, maybe an argument, or maybe you've had words, or you've said something to somebody, and you worry about what you said afterwards, or something's happened, an event, and you keep going over it. Or, I wonder what she meant by that, or I wonder if she thought that I meant this, and really I meant that. And that's an example where you can be over analytical when you're in a social situation with people, and then you worry about, or maybe you've got a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and you're worried about, what they're going to think about what you said or what the present they bought for you, and then you go into too much detail. And
Yes. So trivial moments. You can be a bit of a worrywart. I like that expression. So you might describe a person as a worrywart.
I've never heard of that expression before.
You haven't.
No.
You've clearly never read the books of Enid Blyton.
A worry wart.
I think they used that in Enid Blyton. So some of her books,
Well, a wart is
especially with the famous five. So, well, a worrywart, it's just an amusing term. So it doesn't have anything to do with the other thing. It's just a funny way of saying that, like smarty pants. When you say smarty pants, it doesn't mean a person's underwear is intelligent. What you are saying is just something humorous. It's a humorous thing. So you might describe a person who worries a lot as a worrywart.
Okay, I've learnt something, Mr. Duncan, from
Yes.
your lesson today.
Thank goodness for that. All my work was not in vain. And finally, of course, you can be a
Worrier.
worrier.
A worrier.
So a person who worries, not warrior, that's a different word. So there is a difference between warrior and worrier. Worrier. So it's a slightly different pronunciation.
Would have an A in it, wouldn't it?
Yes. So a person who worries, a person who is always worried about the future or maybe something that happened in the past can be described as a worrier. They worry too much.
Bite their nails and give themselves a lot of stress. Yes, sometimes you worry too much about trivial things that aren't important.
And
Don't
I think
sweat the small stuff,
Yes,
as I said.
and I think that's one of the secrets of being happy as well. A lot of people asked earlier, Mr. Duncan, you always seem so perky and happy. And that's it. So sometimes worrying can be a thing that makes you feel worse about your life in general. I think so.
Eric makes a very good point here. Another way to reduce stress or worries is to do some deep breathing. Deep respiration, or deep breathing, we would say here, where you just breathe in slowly through your nose,
Okay.
exhale through your mouth,
Yes.
maybe counting to 10, something like that. Do that a few times, and that just calms you down.
Yes. So sometimes it's nice to be calm. Anyway, we're going now, Steve.
Useful in a road rage incident.
Okay.
What they say is, if something happens that could annoy you, just stop, breathe in a few times, count to 8, breathe out, and that will get rid of that stressful moment.
Count to 8. Why 8?
Because it's just enough to distract you without you actually suffocating.
Why not 12?
Well, counting to 12 might be difficult for some people. If you've got good lungs, count to 12, which is
Goodness me. If you can't hold your breath for 12 seconds, then you probably shouldn't be driving a car, to be honest. That's just my opinion.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
9, 10, 11, 12. It's only 4 more seconds.
8. I nearly fell asleep then.
Yes. Not the only one. Anyway, we're going now, Steve. We don't do 2 hours anymore.
That's true. So
Yes.
I'll go and get the tea ready and the tea cakes.
We're having a cup of tea and also a tea cake. And then tonight we are having salmon.
Yes, we're not stuck in our ways at all, are we?
What I love is the chainsaws have now stopped. Now we're going. The chainsaws have stopped.
That's because they've realised that you're online and they need to stop.
Well, they didn't stop very quickly, did they? They carried on for ages before they decided to stop. So thank you very much to the nice men with their chainsaws. And also thank you to Mr. Steve for coming out here today and deciding to give us some of his valuable time. So
Forgot to mention these because it's at the third today.
it is the third today.
So this is an 18-inch sparkler, and we're going to... Oh, there we go. I ought to show that. You asked me to bring this out, Mr. Duncan.
Yes.
Monster sparklers. We're going to be lighting these in 2 days' time.
Yes, because on the 5th of November, we always celebrate Guy Fawkes Night. So there you can see some lovely sparklers. So normally you light the end and then they will sparkle.
We've done that live, haven't we?
We did do that live a couple of years ago, and we burnt half the house down.
That's something to worry about. On that note, Mr. Duncan, I will go inside and prepare our little snack.
Yes, because between you and me, I'm freezing.
Bye-bye, everyone. Lovely to see you. And I hope you don't mind me interrupting today, Mr. Duncan.
It's okay.
And there we go. Look, Vitas, worrier and warrior.
Yes.
Are you a warrior, a person who fights and goes out
That's
and
it.
protects humanity?
a brave person?
A brave person.
Look, now the sun's coming out. What? The sun is now coming out. You can see the sunlight behind me. Isn't that just typical?
Take these with me. Ta-ta! See you all maybe next week.
Yes, maybe.
Bye.
That was Mr. Steve, and I can't believe the sun is now coming out. Look at the view now outside. So now I'm going, the sun has decided to come out. Isn't that just typical? Very typical indeed. So I will see you during the week. Now I will probably be with you on Wednesday, but I am at the moment doing a lot of work, preparing some new live streams. I'm not sure how often I will be on. Now, one question I want to leave you with, and this is something you can do in the comments below. So maybe you can leave your responses in the comments. Would you like more live streams? Do you like my live streams? Do you find my live streams useful or not useful? Shall I do more live streams? Maybe 3 times a week or 4 times? But not every day. I can't do it every day because I think I will have a nervous breakdown. So what do you think? Do you like my live streams? Shall I do more live streams? Oh, by the way, TS asked, do you still have your incinerator? And there it is behind me. So you saw earlier in the video I was burning some paper, and there you can see the actual incinerator. So we still have the incinerator behind me. There it is, the same one. Thank you very much to Juangays or Juangates. Thank you very much, Pedro, Anna, TS. Very nice. Thank you to Luis Mendez. I'm sorry I didn't say hello to you today. I'm sorry about that. Yes, I will be going soon. Thank you, Palmyra. Thank you, Pedro. I should be with you on Wednesday. Now, one of the things I'm thinking about is maybe doing something late on Wednesday, like I used to. The only problem is it takes a lot of preparation and work. So it is something that I'm considering, I am thinking about at the moment. So after my 31 days of live streams, I took a little rest, and now my brain is working again. Now I am ready to do some more creating. Thank you, Palmyra. Thank you very much to everyone. Thank you very much. So if you want more live streams, more of this, please let me know in the comments underneath this video. Thank you very much for your company. I'm going now. This is Mr. Duncan in England, feeling a little bit cold right now in the garden. Saying thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed today, and I will see you on Wednesday. We will make it Wednesday. Does that sound like a good idea? Will you be here on Wednesday? I hope so. And of course, until we meet again, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Ta-ta for now.